So let's talk a little bit about the music business. So many people
Yes.
talk about, I interviewed Ron DeVoe. He said that for Candy Girl, they have made $250 a piece to this day.
To this day.
To this day. And hindsight, that seems egregious. Front end, group of kids, no one knows, record labels investing money in these artists. You know, one of them could do something crazy, shoot up at a club, you know, do something crazy, and all the hundreds of thousands of dollars they've invested is lost. So on the one end, you got to say the labels are trying to protect their interests, but then on the other end, some are trying to be greedy. So talk a little bit about the music industry and some of the reforms that you think should be made. And it sounds like that really wasn't y'all issue. The issue was they didn't believe in y'all. It wasn't that they gave you.
No, it was both. It was
Oh,
both.
okay.
And let's be clear, you know, protecting your interests and being greedy are not separate things, right?
Yeah.
Those are not mutually exclusive terms. You can be looking to protect your interests and still be trying to take advantage of the other person,
Yeah.
right? So just because you're trying to protect yourself doesn't mean you're automatically doing fair business. And that's kind of how the entertainment business, I don't want to just leave it as the music business, but I know the entertainment business operates in such a way. When people get record deals and they talk about they got money, what they get is basically a loan, right? Because the money that a record company gives you is in advance of the money they expect to make with you or from you. So when you hear people like, we just signed a record deal and let's say we signed for $2 million, that doesn't mean they just gave you $2 million, right? That
Yeah.
means that they're making a $2 million investment in you, and you won't get any money back until at least they've recouped that $2 million investment.
Yeah.
And then there are other costs, you know, recording budgets, promotion, marketing, videos, tours, all of these type of things that come into play that basically deepens the debt that artists find themselves in with the record company. And all of these loans are based on percentages. So even if a record company gives me, invests $2 million into me or my group, that's at a 10% basis. So even if they release an album and the album makes $8 million, it's not like, oh, well, you recouped your $2 million. No, it's based off the 10% of the deal that you make. So 10% of $8 million is only $800,000. Your loan in advance of your project was of $2 million. So you're still technically $1.2 million in the hole with the record company. That's the entertainment industry accounting. And that's why most entertainers end up in a hole financially with people.
So break that down, because
that's just the deal for the album. We're not even talking about the money that comes from the publishing side, which it comes with the people that actually write the songs and produce the music.
Okay.
That comes with cash advances too, at a percentage, and typically it takes advantage of the artists that most artists want to be in the music industry. They just want to make music, be on TV, be played in the clubs and all of that. But it's a business, and there's a lot of money potentially to be made in the business. And people that don't go into the music industry taking the music business side of it into consideration, like myself when I signed it at 19 years old, typically get taken advantage of, like I was taken advantage of.
Yeah.
When we started to understand how deep our contract was, typically when you go in to sign a contract, and let's say the contract is 60 pages long, typically in the meeting, we're not going to go through all the minutia of everything on all 60 pages. That's typically for the attorneys to kind of go over. When you go in to sign the deal, as let's say if you're a singer, and you go in to sign the deal, they're going to put a 60-page contract in front of you, and they're going to have tabs for about 6 pages, right? The tabs on those pages are going to be for everything that you asked for in the contract. So when you say you wanted 3 videos, that's going to be tab number 1. See right here, this is where we agree to give you 3 music videos, and we're going to spend some good money on it. So you can initial right here. This is where you get the money you asked for up front, if you can initial right here. And they go through these different tabs to give you everything that you asked for. But every page that isn't tabbed and shown to you is probably working against your interest in the contract. And there's no need for them to show you where they're messing over you. I had to choose my words right because I forgot his kids in it. It's not in their interest or their need if they know you're only concerned about what you asked for.
Yeah.
And they show you that, you're ready to sign. And they'll show you when they sit down with the contract, they'll show you an envelope and they'll let you know that's the check.
Yeah.
Right? The check you've been waiting for is right there in that envelope next to that contract. And as soon as you finish signing it, you can get it. So that for a young up and coming person, especially coming out of underserved communities, and this being their first opportunity to really have some true money in their pockets, the quicker they sign, the quicker they get the money. So it's like, yeah, whatever, just tell me where to sign so we can hurry get this check. And I was one of those young people just very anxious to say I did it, you know what I'm saying, but not really understand what I had actually done. Well, I think in hindsight, which is always 2020, I with the information I know now, I would have tried to convince the owner of the independent record company to make sure we understood the nuances of the industry before we signed the major deal, because we were signed to an independent label out of Houston. That label eventually signed a deal with a major record company out of New York, Jive Records, which is owned by a major publishing company called Zomba. If we had taken more time to understand our true value and what our real negotiating points were, and understanding the leverage that we could have potentially had in that meeting, I think that would have benefited us tremendously over the years, because a lot of that was just willful ignorance, not really wanting to deal with the business side, not really wanting to be concerned with that stuff, just wanting to show, hey, look, we went to New York and signed a record deal, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't pay bills if you don't know how to navigate the record industry and the music business. Signing a record deal really is more of a detriment to an artist than a benefit if they don't know what they're signing and what it does or doesn't do for them.